Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio. And now the Brilliant Stars has had its first weekend of pre-releases. We know the set release. We've had a few days. It's time to look at the top 10 most expensive cards from Brilliant Stars. Now, when the set is released proper, and the amount out there is significantly higher and loads more sales are going on, we will revisit this to see where we are, but I do think this is an interesting question to ask right now. I do need to mention, like I told you the other day, right now is the worst time to buy singles, unless you really want to or you've got a good reason. I would not buy singles now, purely because it is the worst time to buy singles. The prices are going to crash over the next few weeks. Although, as a few people have pointed out in response to my previous video, obviously, if you are picking up cards for what seems like a really good deal, for the kind of price that equivalent cards from previous sets are going for, yeah, go for it. I'm not saying don't ever buy singles under any circumstances. I am saying that the prices are going to plummet over the next couple of weeks, so only buy if you've got a good reason. And yeah, this is actually a really good deal, even bearing in mind the time. That's a good reason, quite frankly. Now, I'm going to give you the prices he's been selling for on eBay, but do take them with a gigantic pinch of salt, because like I've said, prices are going to crash. But honestly, even though the figures are all over there, the actual values seem about right here. Now, there are a few notable ones that didn't make the list. Gold Ultra Ball is being sold for, as low as $48, as high as $75, as far as I can see. Great playable card, gold version of it. It's just not hitting near the top 10. Galarian Zapdos, the gold version, I've seen that sell, well, there was a best offer accepted of $75. It generally tends to be about a $60 card at the moment. Like I've said, these prices are very preliminary. Expect them to come down significantly over the next couple of weeks. These are for comparison at the moment, to compare to each other, not really for anything more. That doesn't make the list. Neither does Galarian Articuno, which is sold for as much as $61. And if these are $60 cards right after the first weekend of pre-releases, you can expect to be picking them up for a fair bit lower than that as time goes by, which makes me happy. I wouldn't mind picking up these birds. They're quite nice. The surprising one to me didn't actually make the list, but Charizard VSTAR is selling for between $75 and $95. But it's just a regular VSTAR. And the pull rates for V-Stars seem to be somewhere in the region of the pull rates for V-Maxes. Again, we do not have enough data right now. This is a very, very early prediction. But it seems to be, based on what I've seen, that the pull rates for V-Star are about the same as V-Maxes. It's an ordinary V-Star going for $75. Having said that, Charizard V-Max from Darkness Ablaze did the same kind of thing. And that has settled way higher than any regular VMAX should. But then again, that came in Darkness Ablaze when there was no other version of it. We have plenty of other good Charizard cards in this set. That seems a little bit high to me, but regular Charizard cards have settled high in the past. So in at number 10, we've got the alternate art of Charizard V. Coming in around about $95, I've seen that being sold for. Now, again, this is just Charizard V, but the artwork is absolutely beautiful. I think Charizard V-Star could be a good card. I do think there's a bit of potential there, and you're going to need Charizard V. Charizard V is fine. It's not a stunning card, it's fine. But this is the beautiful full art version of it. $95, honestly, that does seem about right. And if you want a fancy version of Charizard V, there is a much cooler one coming much higher up the list. In at number 9, we've got Marnie's Pride, the full art version of it. The only supporter card that comes on this list, and there's a good reason for it. Marnie is just hyper popular. People love Marnie. It really is as simple as that. It's a new supporter card, it's fine, it's going to see a bit of play here and there. That's not why people are buying this card, ladies and gentlemen. People are buying it because it's Marnie. Marnie is a proper popular character, and everybody wants to get very excited about Marnie, so it comes in at number 9. In at number 8, we've got the alternate art of Arceus V, which I've sold. I've seen 150 best offer accepted, which means it's less than that, but we don't know quite how much less. That is the problem with a lot of these early sales. You get a lot of cards where you get best offer accepted and you don't really know exactly what they sold for. It can be a bit of a pain. But the point is, it's Arceus, who's pretty popular, and let's face it, with Legends Arceus now, it's a pretty good time to be an Arceus fan. And the artwork here is absolutely stunning. And Arceus VSTAR is a great card, and you're going to need Arceus V to play it. So I suppose that does help to explain it a little bit. Hey, speaking of which, in at number 7, we've got the Rainbow Rare of Arceus VSTAR, which I've seen sell as high as $162, which could actually jump it ahead of the next couple cards on the list. We don't know. I'm leaving it down here for now. There could be a bit of a shuffle. Like I've said, I'm going to revisit this over the next couple of weeks when we've got the full set out, bit more information. Also, this should have been obvious, but let me say it now. I don't have English scans of most of these cards, so obviously I'm showing you the Japanese scans. We are talking about the prices of English cards being sold in the US and places like that. Brilliant Stars, not Starbirth. Or in the case of Marnie, I suppose, 100 Start decks, etc. Arceus V-Star Rainbow Rare, it's a phenomenally playable card. It's a V-Star, and V-Stars are new and fancy, and yay! But the fact of the matter is, it's Arceus V-Star, it's a phenomenally playable card, it's a Rainbow Rare version. There is, of course, a better version of Arceus V-Star. We'll get to that one later on in the list. In at number 6, we've got the Character Super Rare of Sylveon VMAX from the Trainer Gallery subset. I've seen it selling for $170, but that was a best offer accepted, so it was a bit lower. This one, Sylveon has proven to be a playable card, let's be clear. It's proven to be a good deck. But the fact of the matter is, what we've got here is just absolutely beautiful, over-the-top, stunning artwork, and Sylveon is a very, very popular Pokemon. You do have to ask the question of whether you prefer this version or the alternate art that came around in Evolving Skies, because we've now got two, proper super premium versions of this card. I weirdly have the English version of the alternate art and the Japanese version of the Character Super Rare. I need to decide which of these I think is cooler. And I'm not really biased because I've managed to pull both of them somehow. So I don't really know is the honest answer. And maybe that will keep the price of this down a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is we've got a playable card of a popular Pokemon with beautiful artwork, and that is always going to help. And then coming in at number 5, we've got its running mate Umbreon VMAX, which I've seen selling for $190, but again, that was a best offer accepted, so it wasn't really $190. It was a bit lower. And basically everything I've said about Sylveon, you could say about Umbreon, except it's a little bit more popular as a Pokemon and a little bit more playable as a card. It gusts when you evolve into it, and let's face it, it's going to be popped into a lot of decks. Again, we do have an amazing VMAX alternate art that came around in Evolving Skies. So again, you've got to ask yourself which one is cooler. Now, I haven't pulled either of these, but I'm going to tell you straight off the bat, I think the one from Evolving Skies is better. I think that is a cooler looking card. That one is my favourite of the two. But again, hyper popular Pokemon, super playable card, wonderful artwork. This was always going to happen. In at number 4, we've got Galarian Moltres, the gold version. Sold for $200, but again, that was a best offer accepted. So really from 4 down to about 7, we could mix around a fair bit. And this is largely due to playability. And this one confuses me a little bit. Now, don't get me wrong, as a Pokemon, it hits a good weakness. It's got that ability that accelerates energy to itself. It's clearly great. But does anyone like this more than the alternate art that came around in Chilling Reign? Because that alternate art from Chilling Reign is widely regarded as one of the best alternate arts we've seen. It's a stunning card. And actually, as you saw on this channel, I was able to pull this from an Elite Trainer box, despite the fact that I almost never buy Elite Trainer boxes, and I had to buy one just to get a Sobble promo. Totally worth it, it turns out. But my point is, we've got a way cooler version of this. I love the gold cards. I think they're cool, and Galarian Moltres V is clearly a very playable card. But it is slightly confusing to me that we've got such a good alternate art, and the gold version is selling for so much, I could see this one coming down in the future. I mean, they're all going to come down. I mean, I could see it dropping down the list of top 10. In at number 3, we've got another gold card. It is the gold version of Arceus VSTAR, and I've seen that one selling for $300. Or $2.99 if you want to be a pedant. But I'm rounding to $300 because I can. But the point is, this is very rare. The gold V-Star, and there is only one of them, it is Arceus, there are no others. This is rare in a way that the Rainbow Rare V-Stars aren't. This is a level of rarity above your Rainbow Rare V-Star, which means there are going to be fewer of them out there, they're going to be harder to pull, etc. So that is going to push this one up in terms of value. And of course, it's a super playable card like we mentioned earlier. You can go and get yourself the regular version or the Rainbow Rare version, nobody is going to be offended, but this gold version really is a level above in terms of cool and in terms of rarity. Which obviously means the top 2 are Charizard. In at number 2, we got Charizard V, the alternate art, which I've seen selling for as much as $320. Again, we've got a full art version of this. Again, it's not a hugely playable card, not like some of the others on this list. You can't really put this next to Galarian, Moltres, or Umbreon V Max and put it in the same category. Arceus V Star as well. It's just not. What we have here is just a phenomenal artwork of Charizard. And we all know when it comes to the TCG, ever since the base set, Charizard's the big boy. Charizard is the one that everybody wants. So we end up here with a phenomenally popular card. And that makes sense. But in at number 1, with no real competition, it's the Rainbow Rare of Charizard V-Star. It is number 1 by a huge margin, and I've seen a best offer, well, I've seen 525 with a best offer accepted. I've seen a 500 with a best offer accepted. I've seen a couple of 500s with best offer accepted. And in fact, there is actually one that sold on eBay on the 13th of February for $499.99. So maybe, ladies and gentlemen. And another apparently sold for $449. So around about $500 is where people are putting this card right now. Like I showed you the other day, do not spend $400 or $500 on this card. Maybe it settles as a $200 card. I would be extremely surprised if it settled above that. Might take a couple of weeks, but it's going to settle way lower. My point is, you've got the rarest Charizard card in the set. If you ask me, the alternate art of the V is a way cooler card, and I'm a much bigger fan of the alternate art of the V, but people have spoken, and it is the V-Star which is the more popular of them, and the more expensive of them, and I do think it's fair to say this is going to settle at number 1, and the alternate art is going to settle at number 2. I want to see them flip-flop, but I've not seen anything yet to suggest that they will. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Over the next few weeks, hopefully you're all going to be opening a bunch of Brilliant Stars. That's what you're looking for. Those are the cards you want to be pulling, and in that order. But now I want to hear from you guys. I want to know which of these you've pulled. I want to know which of these you want to pull. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section, would you? Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that good stuff, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.